Hey, Mike, good to see you again. Let's just start out by asking, how's business?
Well, it's great. I'm glad you asked. We just completed our fiscal year end last week, and so we're still kind of dealing with the last month before fiscal year end. You're running pretty hard, and so we're all kind of taking a little bit of a breath. But we fortunately had the biggest year we've ever had in the company. We just killed it. As a company, in the last 3 years, we've gone from in 19 $4 billion in loans to 2020 to $6 billion this year. Going to be $8 billion. So it's been a great trajectory for the bank.
How was WaFd able to grow during the pandemic?
It's a great question once again, but we basically really focused on what we wanted, and there were a lot of banks that kind of pulled back from the table a little bit because of the uncertainties of COVID. And we made the conscious decision via our CEO. He said, let's lean in, let's get a little market share, and we did. And so we were able to capitalize on some things, and I'll use PPP as an example. Last year, the company did 9,100 loans totaling about 1.2 billion, and half of those were brand new customers. And so since that time, we'd never done an SBA loan before PPP came along. So it was, a revelation for us. And all those new customers we are still in contact with, and frankly, they love what we did for them, and it really, and they see our culture and the way we do things, and they really like what they see.
You've been a leader in the banking industry for a long time. COVID was something we've never seen before. Are there any lessons that you took out of COVID that you think will make you an even better leader moving forward?
I think the key is we've got to be agile. I was not a believer at first at work at home, and by gosh, it worked. I was surprised at how well it worked. I want to get more people back into the office now because of the fact I don't want to have our culture erode because of, it's so important to get face to face and to be with people. But, early on, we kind of just, had to be agile and make quick moves in terms of what was best for our customers and our overall customer service.
WaFd has long been known for its great workplace culture, and you've been able to maintain that through COVID. What was the key to your success there?
We didn't deviate from what we always look for, and we've always been looking at hiring people throughout the years. And one of the things we always do, regardless of how good we think that particular person may be, if we don't think they'll fit the culture, we don't go forward with them. And so it's critical for us to maintain that, because the loan volume, the deposit growth, that will come if you get the right people. But if you get the wrong people in there, it will really impact the culture, and that just doesn't fit for us.
Mike, why do you think you're such an effective leader for WaFd in Arizona? What qualities do you think you have that have made you so successful here?
I consider myself a pretty good mentor, and I go back to my days when before I moved to Arizona 16 years ago. I was in Colorado, and I was a ski instructor, and I could get down the hill pretty good skier, and do all the black runs and all that. But that was not what I had so much fun with being an instructor, was teaching people what I did pretty well to get them down the hill, and they got a lot of joy out of that. So what I'm enjoying now is, I'm clearly in the pinnacle or the highlight of my career, at the tail end of my career, but just to start identifying the young, I call them the young Turks, whereby we start identifying some good quality bench strength, and get some of this millennial population and start focusing them on a career path.
Arizona's economy seems to be exploding right now. What do you see as the outlook for the banking industry going into 2022 and beyond?
I think it's quite good. Interest rates have moved up a little bit over the last month, which is great for banks because they were really artificially low. It's funny because we do a lot of mortgages, and now the mortgage rates are 3.5%, and people are whining the fact that they're above 3%, and it's like, I remember the days when it was a mortgage was 16%. So 3.5% is still a pretty good deal. And I think what also is going to help Arizona and the banking community right now is, I was at a conference 2 weeks ago, we're getting 250 families a day migrating into Arizona. That's an astounding number to me. And so once the people come, then restaurants will come and more grocery stores, and so more commercial activity will come, which is good for all of us.
How about WaFd? What's your outlook for WaFd? Do you have any or do you have any goals going into 2022?
Financial goals, since we just finished our fiscal year end, we're looking at that right now. As a matter of fact, I've got a meeting with the CEO later this afternoon in terms of those discussions. So, we're looking for a big year again. Our pipelines are quite full, but I'm also looking at making sure once again that we get those young ones, get them positioned and postured and focused on what their careers are. So when I'm gone, got some good bench strength, and that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now for 2022.
Mike, I have a lot of friends who have switched their banking over to WaFd, and they just rave about the customer service and the culture that they feel there. What is it? What is the special sauce that you have at WaFd that makes it such a special experience for your customers?
One of the things that we do when we hire new employees, for example, we provide an offer letter. We have all the financial pieces of it in terms of the salary, the stock options, et cetera, but we also incorporate into that offer letter a phrase of "simply be nice," and we mean it. Life is way too short to go into to your employer and everybody's biting each other. Everybody's trying to outdo each other. We don't operate in that fashion, and we carry that out to our customers in the big way, whereby it feels a lot better when you get these nice letters coming in saying thank you very much for everything you've done versus somebody getting a little bit gnarly. And so we really do focus on that whole concept.
Okay, last question. I'm going to put you on the spot. If there's one trend in banking that we need to watch in 2022, what would it be?
One trend. I would say, this is not just for 2022, but I think we also start having to look at going forward. Due to the pandemic, and also in years prior to the pandemic, but the pandemic really reinforced the whole concept of digital type banking. And we had to close, our branches were open, but the doors were closed. And so it forced a lot of the customers into the digital side of things. So that parlays itself into what do we need for branches going forward? Do I need a 5,000 square foot branch? No. Do I need more digital? Probably. So those are the kinds of things, and I think they're very intertwined, that we have to start looking at in 2022 and beyond.